Well, we're back. Today is the 26th anniversary of June 12. Many years ago, many years have gone by, and many heroes of democracy have sacrificed their resources, some even their lives. And this makes me think, what remnants of democracy do we have left? Why hasn't the government been able to replicate the 1993 elections? Even the technological advancements Nigeria has gone through, why is it so difficult? Of course, again, we're also going to look at 20 years of democracy that we're celebrating today. Do we really operate that system of government? I mean, let's use the most elementary way of describing democracy: government for the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. The most important word there is the people. Now let's look at Nigeria in practical. The governance that we've had in the 20 years of democracy, nascent democracy, by the way, has it been about the people? Under you, Mr. Kanebe, has it really been about the people, and how much have the people benefited from it?
Well, last year, the report of the Brooks Institution that said that for every 6 minutes that passes, one Nigeria slides into extreme poverty, says it all. That 20 years of democracy has not brought that hope, which was the campaign slogan of the man of whom we are celebrating today, Abiola. You know, it was hope, farewell to poverty. That was the theme of his manifesto in 1993. Unfortunately, it is the exact opposite of what was contained in that document. Nigeria has, in the last 20 years, slided into the poverty capital of the world. And so if democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, then we must ask this question: do the people in Nigeria hate themselves? That despite there being the major drivers in a democracy, they are the worst hits of the system. You get. So I don't think democracy for 20 years has come in handy for the majority of our people. We see unemployed youth all over the place. People of my generation, I should say, are the most hit of the disappointment of Nigerian democracy. When I read the title of Chinua Achebe's book is There Was a Country. And when you read that book, you get a sense of how the generation of these people who are messing up our today, how they fared in their own times. They went to good schools, they scholarships, they got jobs, and they had the best of that Nigeria that we thought would be having. But unfortunately, it appears they mortgaged our future, and unfortunately, it's been a sad story for many Nigerians. So I wouldn't say democracy has come in any benefit apart from we having military out of power. Short of that, in terms of material and social economic well-being of the average Nigeria, democracy has been a disappointment.
You mentioned that people of your age and my age are the worst hit.
Yes.
And I always ask, what have we done about it other than complain? Because the government is a handful of people compared to we, the people, which the Constitution begins with, by the way, meaning that the power lies with us. So why are we still complaining about being worse hit? What have we done about it?
Well, I must concede that we have not done enough. Because I notice there's a problem with many people of our generation. I think we understand the issues, but I don't know what tends to to drag us back to these leaders whom we all acknowledge are not the bearers of the solution to our problem. The last election proved that a lot. We saw the like of Kingsley Mohalu, the candidate of the YPP. To my mind, he was the best candidate for that election. And despite all the campaigns, he tried to connect with our generation on social media, tell them why they have to face out this to relegate the old guard and all of that. Yet, the voting pattern showed that many of these youths ended up voting for the old generation of leaders. And yet we say that they are the bearers of our problems. So to that extent, I agree with you that we have to actually make a bold move. Having identified that these old leaders are those who are responsible for this system we operate in, I think we should be able to change our voting pattern. Maybe voting this younger generation of leaders who we think can do better than them.
I don't know if I agree with you. If voting out the old and bringing in the new is a solution, but we're talking about a democracy here, and 20 years down the line, there's a lot of finger pointing, there's a lot of, it's your fault. And then we are at a place where people are saying, oh, this country was a mistake, this amalgamation was wrong. And this all because people do not see the dividends of a democracy. I dug up some manifestos from old leaders dating to Abiola, and I heard about, you know, goals that we still have as 2020 in today's world. So it makes me really wonder, we're still telling ourselves the same story, yet there is nothing to show for it. Are we really in a democratic system of government?
Well, let's start with this. I was at a lecture given by Chukwumerije, and he said your generation are the generation that has suffered. I agree to an extent. I also ask, because you see, when you look at this thing, Boko Haram, I want to say it's something people are refusing to acknowledge, because it talks about it speaks against the elites. In the north, the tradition is that when the shepherd takes the cattle to drink, it takes out the cattle, and they get to the water hole, the cattle drinks first before the shepherd drinks. Now, the idea behind Boko Haram is that the shepherd drinks almost the whole water and leaves nothing for the cattle to drink. That is the way of life now. That it is this book that has this Aramic book, this wicked book, that has created this kind of people. That was the teaching until politicians brought them into politics and into violence. That was what they were teaching. Now, take this. Read, like you're doing, read Set Forth at Dawn by Wole Soyinka. Read the books by Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Read the speeches by Tafawa Balewa. Like you said, you feel like these are people from another continent.
Like they were here. They're right here, right now.
No. Like, yes, right, like, yeah. Or sometimes you feel that they're like Bible stories that never happened. You see, we need to sit down, ask ourselves, we that can still reason, because I'll tell you, I was at a funeral some years back in Akwa Ibom, and young boys were saying they were going to do violence so that the politicians will see them and take them into their camp so that they will know that they are strong people. They want to be PAs, PA to PA to PA. As long as you have access to government money, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to the rigors of life anymore.
But somebody must have made them feel that way. Things must have happened for them to feel that. There's no need to suffer. There's no need to go to a 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the politicians, a man who could not buy beer for his friends yesterday suddenly becomes a politician and is drinking the most expensive alcohol. He's building houses day and night, marrying new wives, and doing all sorts, and nobody's asking. I remember when I was young, if I came with a friend whose father was known to be not a good guy in society, my father would be in front of you. Is this not this person's son? Don't bring this person's son to my house anymore. But what happens today? As long as the guy has money, the guy is a big guy. Oh, welcome. How is your father? You know the man is a thief. Honestly, and we are following thieves in this country. He's my leader. He's my leader. But look at someone like Jakonde, who has influenced millions of lives. He's still living where he lived as editor of Daily Times. Still living there. But the people who came after, who have not done anything, they've moved from there, where they were living, they've gone to Ikoyi, they're buying up everywhere. And how do you impact, how do you get people, young ones, to want to work? How do you get, how have you arrived at this great wealth? Nobody's asking such questions. And I ask of our president, how can you be comfortable in another man's country? Your country is here. You cannot be treated in your country. You go to another man's country and you feel comfortable there. You run generator in Aso Rock. Where is the pride of being a Nigerian? Where is the pride of being a Nigerian?
It makes me wonder. So going forward, we have just a few minutes on the show because we're everywhere. We're about to join Abuja soon, as they're going to have a very beautiful big dinner, and then the interesting speeches with great English is going to be, you know, thrown around there. But how do we go forward? Yes, there's a task ahead of the Buhari administration. Do we see anything changing in the next 4 years?
Please, let me just say one thing. Unfortunately, I felt pain on the 29th of May when I saw the vehicle, the president, who was so austere before he came to office. There's no tire manufacturing company in this country anymore. If that tire got blown, no Nigerian tire can go in. Nobody's thinking about this. There's no leather making factory anymore in this country. We're now celebrating pencils. No, all the textile mills are all closed.
I understand. I can imagine how painful that is.
It can be very painful. Well, going forward in the next 3 to 4 years, what can we expect? Nigerians will be so accustomed to always hoping, and from the part of the country I come from, we say a hunger that has hope would not kill you. So let's just keep hoping and that things will get better. But from the way I see it, I can be only cautiously optimistic that any good change will occur in the next 3 to 4 years.
Barrister Morin, there's this saying that, you know, in a second tenure, the first 1 year you know, razzle dazzle, and then the next 3 years you're getting ready to go, so you take what you can and then, you know, run for the hills. Yes. But for Mr. President and all of the interesting speeches he's given, well, some people might say that his last 4 years were not impressive, anywhere close to being impressive. But do you see him changing or flipping the script, being that he has nothing to lose, and Nigerians, he had to go through hell and high waters to be able to win this election, which is still in contention, by the way. But do you see him flipping the script for once, especially starting with the cabinet? You see,
I'm sorry, I would have loved to see a successful president because it's my country. No, I don't have any other passport. Now, I have not seen the president making big speeches, say, look, I want us, it took a Hoover to build roads to link America, the whole of the U.S. by road. It took a Hoover. Why is the president not dreaming big dreams? What way all the monies we're wasting? Can't we link this country by 6-lane roads? It's possible.
Well, it happened somewhere.
I flew with late Josoputa one time. Good enough, I sat next to him in the aircraft. He was telling me that, look, the roads that we have in the western region today, that are those old roads that were built by Wolowo, they were built by Nigerian engineering companies. What are we doing? The Chinese were bringing in, the Chinese build their roads in China. Julius Berger is a German company. Germans don't go call Americans to come and build. What are we doing about our own engineers? Look, let the president dream dreams. Let him come and let him push us all. Let us aspire to a great Nigeria. We have Nigerians, but they must be inspired.
Inspired. Well,
if I might just add it in, I think President Muhammad Buhari is quite a very lucky man. So when you look at the trajectory of his political career, you see that he's quite a lucky man. And then I think he has that rare opportunity to be one of Nigeria's greatest presidents. After 1985, it took a long time. He tried and tried. Then all of a sudden, he surfaced.
But will he?
He surfaced onto the scene, and he has called for his first time. He has a rare opportunity in the second time to be one of Nigeria's greatest presidents, and I hope he takes that opportunity.
Hopefully. Well, thank you very much, Barrister Emmanuel Umorin, and of course Raymond Nkanibi. Thank you so much, gentlemen. This is the most touching conversation I've had in a long time. Thank you so much for being here. Well, coming up are comments on the June 12th celebration and the legacy of MKO Abiola. Take a look, and after that, I'll be giving you my take. Well, it's time for my take. The incident that made June 12 what it is today was fueled by several factors, most of which will probably remain unknown unto us unless the ruling dictator of that time decides to speak up and maybe confess. However, what it was, it worked for the good of Nigeria. It showed that Nigeria can experience true democracy. And it's not too late for us, I tell you. So as we all celebrate this day, let's all meditate on the significance of today. Let's all resolve to practice true democracy, because that alone in itself will help us truly achieve one nation bound in freedom, peace, and unity. Well, that's all for tonight. Join us tomorrow, same time by 7 p.m. Until then, I'm Marianne Okon, and it's been Plus Politics. Have a great night.